Hi, I'm Pat Riley, CEO and founder of Clientele, and today I have a very special guest. I have Jola Kant with me, and Jola Kant is somebody I've known for many years, but during this terrible pandemic that we've endured such terrible things, she's gone through a struggle that few could actually understand until you hear her story. And when I got to listen to her story and see the video about what she's went through, I thought you would really enjoy seeing Jola and hearing from her directly. So Jola, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us at Clientele. We're so glad you're with us. Tell us how you are.
First of all, thank you so much, Patricia. I am delighted to be able on your show to share and spread the message to as many women that may need to hear it at this point. I am doing pretty good. I have completed my second surgery, which was the bilateral nipple sparing mastectomy with reconstruction. And next week, I am going into my third surgery this year and hopefully the last one.
What was it like when you were diagnosed with breast cancer?
It put me into a state of total shock and being numb and devastated.
This is something that all women fear, and it's such a sensitive area to talk about, but it's great that you actually documented your whole journey on an amazing video that we want to share with our viewers, because you did a great job showing the actual things that you went through. Let's talk about first when they diagnosed you. What were the options that they gave you?
That's a great question, by the way. When I was diagnosed and receiving my diagnosis was, they probably have made a mistake. That's how I received my diagnosis. They don't mean me. I'm gonna go somewhere else and find out, because I figured, no, I have been mixed up. And the options were clear. My original surgeon from Cleveland Clinic, who actually ended up doing my surgery, said it to me straight from the get-go: get rid of them. And I said, Dr. Thompson, how can you talk about my breast like that? What other options are we having? And she said, well, we can do the lumpectomy, we can do chemo, we can do radiation, we can do the tablets, and we can work on it and with you.
Well, you went through this and you actually did not accept the diagnosis. You actually sought out some second opinions, didn't you?
I felt that it was important to go out there and seek a second and even third opinion. Nevertheless, I'd like to stress out that my initial surgeon had encouraged me doing so. Therefore, I did. But I also felt an internal urge to go out there and seek more confirmation.
And after you did this, you came to the conclusion that your doctor was right on, and that really the smartest approach would be to do what she said. But first you didn't. First you did a lumpectomy, right? And what happened?
That is correct, Patricia. The lumpectomy was pretty smooth. I came home and felt relieved that I'm done, and then I was due for my pathology results, which that's a big day to know what's happening. So when I sat down with her initially post lumpectomy, and she said, I'm sorry, I didn't get it out. We need to do more. You need more. And I want you to reconsider your options this time. Go home, think about it, and call me whenever you're ready.
So is that the time when you went for the second opinions after you did the lumpectomy?
That is correct, Patricia. I have not just gotten the second opinions, but I kind of crawled inside of me, and I did a lot of prayers and meditations and walking. And at some point it came to me that it was time to say goodbye to something that no longer served me and open myself up to new things in life in order to have a worry-free and cancer-free life for me.
That's terrific. And you actually were scared of closed spaces, and you had to have a lot of diagnostic tests. Can you explain those tests and why they were difficult for you and how you faced that claustrophobia, having to do those tests?
Great question too. I am claustrophobic, and putting me into an elevator by myself is already scary enough. Now putting me into a tube cave machine was horrifying. For the first one, I took medication, which kind of put me out and made me drowsy and nauseous for 3 days. I am not much of a drug person. I grew up in a very holistic way, on a garden and using herbal remedies. Mm-hmm. So the medication didn't do me well. And for the second one, I decided to work on myself and use meditation and mantras and all sorts of prayers that I could remember since I was a little child. And then my grandmother came into me at night, and her name was Emma, and I figured, so when I go there, I will call the machine Grandma Emma. And
that is so great. So you actually referred to your MRI machine as Grandma Emma.
Correct. So when I got to Cleveland Clinic for my second MRI guided biopsy, I said to everyone, "Let me introduce you to my Grandma Emma. She's gonna hear it." What do you mean, your Grandma Emma? It's not Grandma. And I explained, that I'm trying to do this without medication and without injection, and everybody embraced the idea. And they were with me on it, and they called the machine Grandma Emma too. And when I was finished, it takes some time for the procedure to be done. But when I was leaving, I said, "Bye, Grandma Emma." And everybody said, "Yeah, you're going to see Grandma Emma again." So nice seeing Grandma Emma. That was it.
That was brilliant, the association of a positive, wonderful story. Now, how did you face the fear? As really, Jola, the fear of losing your breasts and breast cancer and not knowing if you're going to die. You really have to really face this. How did you face the fear?
That's an excellent question as well, by the way. Facing the fear was one of the greatest challenges that I have to put through in my life. And I would say it was a combination of a couple of treatments that I seek. And one of them was getting me a professional counselor, which in my case, the clinic provided. And when I went to see her, there was a level of chemistry straight from the get-go, because I've seen other ones. And I felt that was it, and I don't need to go and search more. It was an instant connection, and her name is Rachel, and she has guided me through the entire process, step by step. She became my guardian angel. She became my everything at that point. When I entered her room, we Zoomed a lot, and she was the first when I went into surgery. She was the first when I got out of surgery. And that was the support that was needed, because no family is allowed in the clinic, especially during times like today. So I solely needed to rely on the capacities I had.
Would you recommend that other women who are undergoing breast cancer treatment and surgery have a counselor like this? Did it help you?
I would strongly recommend seeking counseling, whatever you may call it, any kind of therapy, and there is so much out there for all of us. I believe that it is one of the segments that are extremely needed in going through crisis like that.
Mm-hmm. Makes a lot of sense. Now, before you had your double mastectomy, you had somebody suggests to you a photo shoot. Can you tell us about that amazing photo shoot you did and why it was important?
I have a dear friend of mine from Germany who is a professional makeup and hairstylist. And he works here during the winter season, and we have been friends for a while. And he came to visit one day, and he said, you know, I think, and I have seen many people going through crisis, but you're kind of managing this very well. Nevertheless, I believe that seeing your breasts makes me tell you need to go and have it how would you call it, have it photographed, professionally photographed. And if you would allow me, I will organize this for you. And we could do one shoot before your surgery, so you have the chance to say goodbye to your breast. We'll make it look like a ceremony. And then once you're done with everything and you have your new breast, we can do another one. And you can have this with you for your entire life as the greatest memory, and not think of it as punishment and darkness.
Mm-hmm. Now, I think that is so brilliant because you actually documented these beautiful photos to be a memory of what you were before you became renewed and became the beautiful, effervescent Jola that you are today, with a new life starting and all the wonderful positive things ahead of you. But you still have a few more surgeries to endure. So you still have a little more time before you have that total carefree, beautiful, effervescent attitude that I knew when I knew you before. But I know you will return to that. But let's talk about the fact that this is not new to you. You endured terrible suffering when you were a young girl. You were 16, you lost your mother. And, you know, your mother was Polish. My mother was Polish. So we always had a little bond when we first met because Polish mothers are phenomenal, close. So tell us about your mama. What was it like to be growing up in Poland and Germany? Your dad from Germany, your mom from Poland?
I have her with me.
Oh,
she's always with me, and especially now, you know, it brought us way more closer than I was to her ever before. And this is 30 years past. She actually died, and in April was 30 years, interestingly enough, at 30.
And was it breast cancer? What took her away?
It started with breast cancer. I was too little by then. I believe I must have been around 12 when she was diagnosed. And, you know, that was a time where they didn't talk to you clear. I just remember she said, I'm going to the clinic and I'll be back in a couple of nights. I believe she was gone for about a week or so, and her sister, my aunt, took care of us. And when she came back, nobody had ever talked about it. And she was the kind of a woman, never complained, never really, you know, would let us know that she was weak or didn't feel well. So life continued, and time came that I started noticing my mother taking medication. At that time, I really didn't know what it was. There were painkillers. And since I wasn't much home, I was a professional athlete at that time in Germany. My sister was running to the pharmacy and getting her the pills. But at some point, she was diagnosed with stomach cancer, stage 4, and you know, the entire family, my sister, my dad, and I went to the clinic, and we were told that she was given 3 months. I freaked out.
Devastating.
It wasn't told to her face. They were consulting us if we wanted to tell her and how we felt about maybe leaving her in the dark so she would be fighting more and we could have her longer. It was open. So we didn't tell her, but she was in such a pain and agony that she needed to be given morphine. Mm-hmm. And my dad was the breadwinner, so you know, for her going to the doctor's office on a frequent basis, you know, often more than once a day, was impossible. So her doctor taught me how to inject morphine into her stomach to ease up the pain. And I was very afraid of injections of any kind, and I still am, I have to admit. But of course, I'll do anything for my mom, and I learned how to do it. And I was in charge of injecting the morphine into her tummy twice, 3 times, depends how many times she needed it a day. And I was also at that time devastated by witnessing her weight loss, because at some point she started wearing my clothes. You know, it goes so fast when it comes to the end. You basically shrink like that. And time came that we thought that maybe bringing her to the clinic, but none of us wanted it because having her home was more comforting to us. And she tried to be very, very strong. Even I remember she died right after Easter, and she cooked us a last beautiful entire Easter meal, with the whole capanche. And she was in such a pain doing that. And I remember that. And after that, pretty much I felt that, and she herself said, why don't you call 911? And I think it's time for me to go and see a doctor now. And that was it. I never saw her again.
Very, very sad what you went through. I took care of my 5 dear older relatives. So, one day I was traveling the country and traveling Europe 7 times a year. And the next day, my aunt needed me, 2 uncles needed me. My father had a massive heart attack. My mother got ill. And I went all the way from not taking care of anybody to having 5 people that I took care of their precious golden years and the decline that occurs. It's very difficult to watch. But what I find is amazing is that God gives you the strength, and you saw that, and gave me the strength to do things I never thought I could do in the hospital and helping them to the very, very end. And I learned many lessons through that. And I think we all learn that being there for them is the most important thing we can do, is be there for them. And as they go to heaven, that's all we can do. And then we have to replace our grief with gratitude. So every day I thank God that I had such wonderful parents and great aunts and uncles and great family, and that replacing the grief with gratitude lets us go forward in a positive way. And I think that's the only way to really handle something like that, when you lose somebody so dear like your mother, and then later your father, who you lost a couple years ago. But you were lucky to have him till what age?
I was very lucky, 87, yes. I was very lucky to have him for that long. And even though he was in Germany, he taught himself how to FaceTime. So we were like on it 2-3 times a day. And I was going home to Germany. I would say home is here, but I was going to Germany as often as I could. And he would be here too with me, staying as much as he could.
That's so nice. Well, there's a lot of women now that would like to learn from you. What lessons have you learned from what you've gone through so far that you would like to share with others who may have a family or another member of their family that is facing a similar diagnosis?
I would say the lesson number 1 is never give up.
That is so important. Yep, that's important.
I just felt that I have to go on no matter what. And I did have my days where I opened my eyes, but then my body wouldn't want to move. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know what to do with myself. So I would say, why don't you just stay in bed? And then, you don't need to really go out. You're going to die anyway. And you have to really rely on the strength that comes from within. And I always looked up and looked for my mom and looked for my ancestors and for God, and for Buddha and for Cosmos. And like, I need help here. I need help here because I have been very unfortunate to have to go through this during the COVID time, because none of my closest and dearest friends could come, and they still cannot. So I would just FaceTime with them, and I would talk to them over the phone. But I think that it would have been nice to have them with me, and they offered that they would come and stand by, and but it was impossible. But
Yeah.
I am extremely fortunate with my brother Frankie, who had moved from Germany to Guatemala, and he settled there. He bought some land, was building. And because he was in Guatemala, he was allowed to fly into United States because Guatemala has such a low COVID risk statistic, and they were allowed to come. So he was able to come for my first surgery, for my second surgery, and he's arriving in Fort Lauderdale on October 17 for my third surgery.
So your next surgery, describe what you have to go through now.
Okay, so at this point, I am carrying 2 expanders. They are built in under my chest muscles. And they're kind of like made out of a rubber material. And the purpose for the expanders is to stretch the skin, because once they do a bilateral mastectomy, they literally remove the entire tissue. So you left with 2 empty holes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you got choices as a woman. You can say, sew me back, and I am gonna go on and live like that, and use prosthetics, or they have special bras that you can buy and wear that kind of looks like, if people look at you, they couldn't say. I looked at all those things. They have them at the clinic. But I felt that I definitely did not want to run around like that till the rest of my life. I consulted a couple of plastic reconstructive surgeons. They are like artists because they have to build something from scratch. It's almost like a sculpture, I guess. I actually just saw my surgeon yesterday, and he explained everything to me. He has a way of articulating himself in a way that, at least I, for myself, I was able to understand that he will give me new breast. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I can not tell you that I already have one, but soon. But those extenders, they ended up being pretty painful, and I always am careful in articulating myself what it means painful, because pain is different to every one of us. Mm-hmm. That's why I describe them as wearing bricks in your chest, or wearing a corset made out of iron. Because you basically have those 2 things here, and the expansion process is not exactly painful, but uncomfortable, and it's part of the reconstruction. So they work with liquid, which is saline that they put into you, and you think, oh, well, a little liquid, what's going to do to me? But unfortunately, it's the pressure that you feel in your chest, and it never stops. So it's, you can't take enough medication for that.
The skin is extending, though. So what it's doing is it's helping the skin to adjust to the size of what your implants will be. So when they did the surgery and you had the double mastectomy, they removed the 2 breasts, but they kept the skin. Then they put it over what they call extenders, and they inject with saline. Is that right?
That is correct. It was amazing to actually wake up after, I believe, exactly 7 hours and 38 seconds, so nearly 8 hours. They were also able to keep my nipples. That's why they call it nipple sparing mastectomy, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. So when I woke up, I was kind of flat-chested, but I felt that there was something in there. I kind of didn't know what it was. I couldn't look at that time. It took a little while for me to look. But once I started going for expansions, you can basically watch the breast growing. You have 2 holes here. and the surgeon will inject that liquid saline into your chest, and they have strict dosage on that, and then it's done, and then you're allowed to go home, and then you're like, oh, I kind of like just watched my chest expanding, and
Well, when you think about how many women go for elective breast enlargement or breast lifting, when you think about what they're enduring for these elective procedures, you understand that it's not a walk in the park. It really is it's surgery.
It certainly is a surgery. It's unbelievable that we have technology like that today. In my case, certainly wasn't elective.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of that, the advances are spectacular today. I lost my aunt, my father's sister, to breast cancer, and there was nothing they could do for her. And that was back like 30 years ago. And one of our key people in the office, too, she passed. So it's wonderful that they've made so many advances.
I certainly couldn't agree with you more on that. I am beyond grateful that I actually myself had to go through that in days like today with this wonderful technology where we don't have to lose people anymore, because the numbers are frightening. 1 in 8 women worldwide get diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime.
Mm-hmm. And we should talk about that a little bit too, because you are a health nut. You said you were an athlete, you ate healthy your whole life, and yet you had to go through breast cancer. So, genetics does play a role. So although they say genetics is not 100%, and it's not, because we can turn on our genes, turn off our genes, genetics is definitely a key factor. And you found that out and with your mother passing. So, I think that we should share some of the healthy things you've done through the years. You've always eaten very healthy, right?
Yes. I was recruited at the age of 8. I was a runner. So you have a team of people taking care of you. So I grew up and learned early in my life that supplementation, proper nutrition, lifestyle are the key elements for an athlete. And so for me, it was normal. I really didn't think of lifestyle being harsh, like people on diets or people do. I just grew up like that. And my mom had a garden, so, everything was from scratch too. And look, and we had said goodbye to her at the age of 52. Mm-hmm. So must be something that runs through, us, that sort of, is causing it. I want to stress out that my bracket test came out negative. So I was very happy about that. Nevertheless, I don't think that we cannot disregard, even if, we get tested, we still need to go on and live a healthy lifestyle.
Yes, absolutely. So, we know that it's important to get 6 or 7 hours of sleep at night, because that helps the immune system. And we know that nutrition is critical, like you said, and of course, vitamins and our company Clientele, we have been developing vitamins for over 40 years. In 1982, we were the first one to do Clientele Daily Nutrients, a complete system to give you morning, mineral, and evening nutrients, all the key vitamins you need for good health. So it's important to take a vitamin program like that it gives you immediate benefits like healthy skin, hair, and nails, and lots of energy and vitality, but it also helps your immune system. And as we get older, our immune system declines, and that's why all of these cancers and all the problems happen as we age, more so because our immune defenses decline. They call it immune senescence. So that's why it's extra, extra important we take good care of ourselves and get that rest, eat properly, take vitamins like Clientele Daily Nutrients, and do everything we can so that we're turning on the right genes, turning off or suppressing the bad genes. And you certainly did that. So it just shows that, you practiced early detection, and that's important because with early detection, luckily, you were able to catch it and you saved your life. And what would you recommend to others as far as detection? What type of tests would you recommend they do?
The key element to early detection is to schedule your mammogram, and that's what normally is step number 1. You need to add on an ultrasound And if you see your doctor a bit uncertain, they, not normally, but if I had to recommend this to someone out there, I would say, why don't you go for an MRI as well? So the combination of the three, a mammogram, an ultrasound, and an MRI, will be able to help you with early detection 100%. Combined, they actually can bring out what's going on in your breast.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it was Cleveland Clinic where you went, correct?
That is correct. I started with Cleveland Clinic, and I went out there to seek reputable places for second and third opinion, and they use the same techniques and the same diagnostic. Nevertheless, I went back where I felt the most comfortable at, which was Cleveland Clinic in Florida and Weston.
So at the beginning, when you did the lumpectomy, and then it came back that the cancer was still in margins, and then that's when you did the double mastectomy. What was it like when they told you afterward there was no cancer, that the margins were clear?
I cried. I was doing jumping jacks, hugging my doctor. There was such a relief. I think it's very hard to explain that in words. That moment, I felt like I'm going to live.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's amazing what you went through. And you could have chosen to do radiation and chemotherapy and try to do another lumpectomy or something, but it was a safer, better choice to do this. And you felt relieved because you knew it was over, and you never did radiation. You didn't have to do chemotherapy, correct?
That is correct. There's a lot we can do. And we don't need to go through a mastectomy if we don't want to. Yet, I want to stress out that even though you go through a lumpectomy, or even 2 or 3, and you go through radiation, you do your chemo, you take your tablets. Normally, you take them 5 years, 10 years, sometimes 15 years. The chance of reoccurrence, the risk of reoccurrence is pretty high. And I did not want to have that in my life because I felt that I wanted to live a full life. And I guess it goes with my personality. Either I do something right or I don't do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're a true inspiration, and you're gorgeous. And now you're taking care of yourself. And I actually gave you some clientele products for you to use. And I think we could just go over a couple things, how easy it is to take care of the skin, because you asked me how to use some of the things. So I can tell you that the first thing you want to use is, of course, the oils. Have you tried the oils?
Loving the oils. And I want to stress out that I've been doing a lot of medication post-mastectomy, and I literally felt my skin for the first time in my life going down the drain. Mm-hmm. Outbreaks. I just wasn't used to take so much medication, but it was not possible for me to go around it. I literally asked the doctors if I could skip this and skip that and skip this, and the doctors went, do you want to try? And I also learned how morphine feels like, because I literally begged for it at the clinic. When I opened my eyes after a whole day of surgery, whenever I was awake, I was in such an excruciating pain that I begged for morphine. Mm-hmm. That's how painful it was. But so they put you on a plan, and you follow the plan because you don't want to be in pain, and you follow doctor's orders because you're on a program, and that's the way to go by. But that's when I started skin changes, and I actually, at some point, I have aloe vera in the garden. Mm-hmm. So I would go out there and, skip a little and just put it on my face because it was burning. It was hot. I had breakouts. I never ever have any. So I was in crucial need for something that would help. And I believe that, clientele, I love this.
Those are the Time Shield wonderful nourishing oils. It's all natural botanical oils, sunflower seed oil, lotus seed oil from our seed that has the age-defying DNA repair enzyme that lets the seed live for 1,200 years. It's fabulous.
My favorite, because I wasn't allowed to put anything on my breast, and you know how important it is for us to work on a décolleté and do all the way down. And so I showed it to my surgeon yesterday, and he said, "You're good to go with it."
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, it's going to nourish. And the interesting thing is the skin gets dry as we get older, but also from medications, like you said, or from diet changes, or many different things can cause our skin, just the humidity, or if we live in a dry climate. When you put on the Time Shield oils, you're going to find that those wonderful Lotus Time Shield oils will actually nourish the little skin cells, and the essential fatty acids in the oils will almost like feed the cells. And so you'll feel relieved, less dryness, more moisture. You'll be able to hold water easier in the skin. The skin will feel plump. It'll feel more comforted, but also it's going to reduce the look of lines. And I use those oils every day to remove my eye makeup. And if I go to a dry climate, I'll put it all over my face first. Wow. And then after that, I'll wash it off with the wash. So you can do that. You can put the oils on first and then wash it off with the gentle soy antioxidant wash, which, by the way, the second ingredient is aloe. So in addition to soy, you're getting the benefit of not having to go in the garden and cut that aloe. It's in here with the sponge, and you just sponge it off.
I like that.
This is a wonderful way to cleanse your skin morning and night. It won't dry your skin, but it does have the ability to slough away the impurities gently without any exfoliation that's harsh. It's a gentle way, and it's going to rid the pores of impurities and refine the pores, improve the texture, and make your skin fresh and ready for the next step, which will be your wonderful Lotus Firming Serum, which you should have, and the kit that I left you.
I'm doing this right now. I that's what my daily routine is. This serum and this one.
The rejuvenation, yes.
I figured I deserve the best now, so I'm like, let's do it.
Well, the Lotus Firming Serum, that is so soothing. It is amazing because it has 15 anti-aging ingredients. Besides our patented lotus seed, which has that natural DNA repair enzyme that de-ages in a way the topical reduction look of lines and wrinkles, and also helps to firm your skin by 34% in 3 weeks. But it also has in it lycopene, which is why it's red, which is a wonderful antioxidant from the skin of tomatoes and from guava and watermelon. It's a powerful antioxidant that will help soothe those cells from inflammation, along with lutein, which is in sunflower seeds, which, you know, being a Polish girl, you see those beautiful sunflowers on the side of the road, right? You have that. That's also in there, in addition to, you know, vitamins A and B and C and E, all these, plus pine bark and grapeseed and green tea, all these things plus the firming botanicals. So that's why that Lotus Firming Serum is like an anti-aging, skin soothing, skin beautifying cocktail that you put on your skin morning and night. That's spectacular. And then I saw you with the Rejuvenation Cream. That's our most advanced anti-aging cream. Have you tried it?
I'm loving it.
It's almost like a cushion on your skin, because it actually improves the barrier function. And it also works on the skin cells to give them tremendous hydration, so that it'll decrease the look of the lines and wrinkles. And it's been clinically proven to increase the wonderful luminosity of the skin and make the skin look so much younger. So that's why we call it the Rejuvenation Cream. It has the lotus plus all of these wonderful peptides, and the peptides signal the cells to behave their healthiest and to help you to stay youthful. So you're going to look, I mean, you're already gorgeous for sure, Jola, but you're going to look even more gorgeous, and you should pamper yourself with the best for your skin, because that's what we see, and that's what's going to help you to feel good about yourself on this new journey.
Thank you so much. I am so in love with it. I actually called my friend in Germany and I said, like, oh my gosh, you're going to die if you try this one. And, you know, as a makeup artist and hairdresser for the stars, he is into cosmetics. So he's like, I can't wait to try. I said, yeah, you will see what I'm talking about when you get here, and I'll put it on you.
That's great. Well, yeah, we've done clinical studies, so it really does work. And we always say the longer that a woman and a man uses clientele, the younger they'll look for their age, because there's so many botanicals. There's so many anti-aging ingredients. Plus, we're the only one with that patented seed of the lotus flower And that seed can live over 1,288 years because it has a DNA repair enzyme. That enzyme, combined with all the other ingredients, really helps to soothe your skin, decrease the look of those lines and wrinkles, increase elasticity, and make your skin look so much younger and rejuvenate that youthful look. So it'll be good for you and for your friend. And also it's going to help your skin to really recover from a lot of the stress that you've gone through in the last few months. You're going to find you look more refreshed, because that is a very tiring, difficult thing that you've endured, for sure.
Thank you so much, Pat. I believe that I have absolutely underestimated the stress factor, because I noticed like, oh, what's going on with my skin? I don't like my skin anymore. And I think I have totally underestimated the stress that stress does to skin. Because I was busy with so many other things, you know, so I wasn't thinking what the stress on its own is going to do to the skin. But I certainly am very much looking forward to rebuild and enhance to what's lost.
Well, you're going to love it. And we really want to see you come back again and also talk about your journey. We're going to share your beautiful video with our customers and our viewers, so that they will know what you've gone through, and so that they can share this with their friends, because you've documented the procedures you've gone through and your journey, and you're right in the middle of the journey. So we can't wait to hear from you again. And also we want everybody to know that when you support Clientele, we will be donating 10% of our sales from watching this video. And so we're thrilled to be able to talk to you about breast cancer. And if you put BCAM21 in the shopping cart for clientelebeauty.com, BCAM, Breast Cancer Awareness Month 21, in the shopping cart, you'll get 10% off, and 10% will go for cancer research. I'm a member of the Royal Dames for Cancer Research, and you know, they're doing so many new technologies at Nova University that they're experimenting with, that we're thrilled to support all the cancer work that is being done to try and find a cure for so many different problems that cancer causes, not only initially, but long-term, and having a faster recovery, easier treatment, and long-term great prognosis, so you can live a super terrific life. And that's what you're going to do now. What are your plans now that you are reborn and you're going to be on your way?
I have to tell you, being cancer-free has absolutely changed my life. I want to restart. I want to go out there. I definitely want to do a lot of supporting. I want to do a lot of advocating, because I will speak out of experience and I will speak my truth. And I am ready to go out there and rock it. You are.
And you're just, you know, didn't you feel that in a way God used you with this, because of your documentation? Didn't you say that to me, that you felt you were so inspired to share this with people in your video?
You are actually causing tears in my eyes, because it was bigger than myself. I never thought of anything like that happening to me. I also never thought of documenting what I was doing. My brother started taking pictures at the clinic, and then I remember saying, I have a calling to go and deliver certain messages to women, to people, because also men have breast cancer. 20% of men have breast cancer. I certainly will be more than happy to advocate there too, even though I'm not a man, but you know, from the perspective of going through it and the experience that I was able to make. But it was God's calling, even though, you know, in German we say I was unlucky and in being lucky. I mean, all my friends say you've been unglücklich and being glücklich. So if you translate it, I didn't ask for it, but it was given to me to probably push me towards different directions that I would have not myself come up with.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, we want everybody to watch the video that you've created, and we're going to have the link below so that you can watch this fascinating video. And we really Can't wait to have you back again, Jola, and to hear some more about your journey. And I want to thank you so much for joining us, and thank everybody for watching today. Please like and share this with your friends. It's an important message, and it can help so many people. And remember to go on clientelebeauty.com, and the code is BCAM21 for your discount and also to support breast cancer research. So thank you, Jola. And is there anything you'd like to say last to everyone, to give them a special message before we say goodbye?
I just wanted to thank you for giving me the opportunity. I feel beyond blessed and grateful. And I wish I could give you this little ribbon because I'm making them every day and I want to give one to everyone, but unfortunately I can't be running around nowadays like we used to do in the old days, and hopefully we will. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Lots of love to you. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a great day. Jola, we'll look forward to hearing from you again. God bless. Thank you for watching clientelebeauty.com.
Bye.